John Gill, 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 10. Reading first from the King James Bible, quote, "Ye are witnesses, and God also, how holy and justly and unblameably we behaved ourselves among you that believe," unquote. John Gill, quote, "Ye are witnesses, and God also." Not so much to what goes before as to what follows after, relating to their holy walk and conversation among them, and the more open part of which they were witnesses of, and the more secret part God is appealed to, who is acquainted with the springs of actions as well as with actions themselves. How holy and justly and unblameably we behaved ourselves among you that believe. The Syriac version joins the last clause of the preceding verse with this, and reads the whole thus, quote, "Ye are witnesses, and God also, how purely and justly we preached unto you the gospel of God, and how unblameably we were among all that believed," unquote. Referring the former part to the purity and integrity in which they preached the gospel, and the latter to their unblemished conduct among the saints. But the whole of it refers to the conversation which was holy, eternally holy, arising from eternal principles of holiness in their hearts, and free from that impurity and filthiness with which the false teachers were polluted, and confirms what is before said, that their exhortations was not of uncleanness, and it was likewise just. They were righteous in the sight of God through the justifying righteousness of Christ, and the consequences of this lived righteously before men, and were injurious to no man's person or property. And their conversation was always unblameable, not that they were without sin, and so without blame in themselves, or without the commission of sin by them, or that they passed without censure in the world, or that they went through their honor and dishonor, through good report and bad report, and all manner of good, false, evil spoken of them falsely for Christ's sake. But by the grace of God, they had their conversation among them that believed so, that there was nothing material to be alleged against them, or in any case of blame to be laid either at their persons or their ministry, which is mentioned by imitation, unquote. Scripture, quote, "Ye are witnesses, and God also, how holy and justly and unblameably we behaved ourselves among you that believe," unquote. End of John Gill, 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 10.